When Crypt sent me a text message saying, yo, can you produce this Poppin Cypher I'm doing? I'm featuring all top 13 of the contestants that were in KSI's Poppin Challenge in it. And I was like, yo, that's an insane power move right there. And he pulled it off. I guess you could say we pulled it off. I produced it, mixed it. I mean, he did most of the work. You know, I did the musical part. You know what I mean? And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I made the beat for the Poppin Cypher. Fun fact, this original beat was semi-rejected by Crypt. We spoke about that on our Poppin podcast in an episode. But it ended up being used, and I'm glad it did. I'm getting a lot of tweets, a lot of messages, everything you could think of people just saying, yo, that beat though? That beat though? So the first thing I did when it came to making this beat for the Poppin Cypher was make a sandwich. And not just any sandwich, a turkey sandwich made with these Hawaiian rolls. Probably the best rolls that you can use. I think they're Hawaiian rolls. Maybe they're potato. I don't know. But you gotta put them in the oven. Get that bread nice and hot, a little toasted. Turkey and cheese with the Chick-fil-A sauce. That's right, no mustard, no nothing like that. You see, it's all toasted, all good to go. We're running low on mayonnaise, but what you expect? A white boy lives in this house, so there's not gonna be much mayonnaise left. Then we got the turkey. You gotta have 2. I was feeling kind of froggy, so 2.5. The Chick-fil-A sauce. You spread it right on the turkey, okay? You don't put on the bread or nothing like that. You put the sauce right on the turkey. Season it with some black pepper. Has a lot of flavor. Spread it out a little bit because I didn't want any like bites with a lot of black pepper in it. And then we put on the cheese. Give it a little pat, let it know it's good cheese. Then the most important part of the sandwich is the chips. Boom. A good healthy amount right there. Crunch down the sandwich. And look at that. A beautiful turkey and cheese sandwich. Alright, so yeah, I'm recording this on an entirely different day. It's all good. We're finally going to break down how I made the beat for Crypt's Poppin Cypher featuring KSI's top 13 picks for his Poppin Challenge. So, let's get into it. The first thing that I put in this beat was a choir. Kinda. Choir sound isn't really choiry. This is what I used. And then I just made chords out of it. Yeah, I wanted it to sound a little bit on the creepy side. It started off without these, so it was just... But then to give it a little bit more bounce, all I did is I took these notes, copied them, pasted them, and then slid them down an octave. So now it sounds like steps, like building up, you know what I mean? Building up the tension there. Yeah, that was pretty much that. And then it goes back to normal once the beat drops. So, now you should be able to hear the choir in the beginning if you didn't hear it already. Alright, so let's talk about what else is in there. So the next thing that I put in there was some pianos, just low pianos, because I'm producing for Crypt, and Crypt likes low pianos. It's really that simple. Same thing over and over. What that sounds like by itself is like this. So boom, then I have the note stab right here at like 4 bars into the verse. Just for the piano to be like, hey, I'm still here. And also a low piano note on a downbeat just makes it like hit a little harder and have a little bit of a darker vibe once the beat drops. You might not be able to tell, but this is the beat without it. And this is it with it. You should have been able to hear that, but yeah. And then during this build-up part, or the climax, I should say, of the instrumental, which is getting towards the end of people's verses, I did the same kind of steps thing with the piano chords. Very nice, mate. Then we got, we could get into the drums a little bit. So what I probably did next is probably just put placeholders. I probably just used the claps as placeholders. Up to that point, we were looking at this right here with the choir, piano, and clap. But that's kind of boring, right? So what I did is I put in these perks, which is short for percussion. But really, this is like a rim shot type sound. Just like that. You hear how much that clap like slaps more? It's because it's mainly the perk sound mixed with the clap that's giving it the thickness. Little notes just bouncing off a little bit. Rolls and stuff like that. Makes a difference. Makes a big difference. Even got like one of these. Yeah, that sounds cool. And then the 808, ladies and gentlemen. I love the damn 808s. I used an 808 from a Vibe Beats kit. Shouts to Vibe Beats. Damn. Bro, that was one of the first internet producers that I ever knew about. 808s. This is the 808 pattern. You may need headphones to hear this or play it on speakers. Of course, I got a pitch bend of the 808s right here, so you can hear what I mean by that and see what I mean by that right here. See how the pitch bend, it's bending. Pretty straightforward. I'll raise the octave so you can hear what the pitch bend effect is doing. It's like doom, doom. But it was a lower octave. Everything had to be low. This is not a fun, happy type beat. Although that was the original intention. The original intention for this beat was to make it like a little bit more of a party vibe. I wanted it to be similar to the Poppin instrumental. And that's where the influence for the drums definitely comes from. But as far as everything else built around it, it kind of just ended up being a dark sounding beat. These little ghost snares that are just off beat a little bit, off the main beat, I should say. Alright, so those work together well with those perks when they're going off the beat a little bit. So it's like, duka, duka, like, yeah. Just sounds good. Then the hi-hats, little bit of a complex pattern, but it's looped, so it's not really that complex. That's a hi-hat right there. You hear it in almost every single beat in existence. All right, then the kick. Big importance. Make sure your velocity is up on your kicks on the downbeat, so that way it hits harder. If I turn the velocity down on this kick, it's almost like it's not even there. But when you turn it up, it has the punchiness. You know, it punches through. It kicks through. All right, there you go. And they might even be a little bit distorted, but in the final mix, they didn't end up sounding distorted with the compressors and limiters. I put it on the beat, so. Cowbell. We need more cowbell. If you understand that reference, you're an OG. So there you go. The cowbell, it has a bunch of delays on it. I did some stereo imaging on it to spread out the sound a little bit, so it's more spread out in the headphones because I want it to be a cool background type thing. I didn't really want it to steal the show too much. And because it's so playful sounding, it could have ended up sounding too cheesy if it was too loud. It probably sounds cool with just the... This was probably the original beat, to be honest with you, that I had in mind. Yeah, it was probably something like that, but... Alright, next we got a fake string. I don't know why I called it that, but I guess we're about to find out. So, a couple things that really stand out to me here is these are the same exact notes as the piano. So the strings aren't supposed to be crazy noticeable, but it's just making everything sound bigger, more ambient. I did like a little power chord here. So there's that. And then I did the same thing, but I went an octave. No, I kind of turned it into a 7th chord. Right there, the second time, just to give it a little bit more life. Like something big is about to happen type thing, or something's about to happen. And then I kept the release low. So if the release is high on this, then every note is gonna be long. But I put the release low, so that way it could be short and I have more control over when the note ends. See that? So I made sure the note was short right before the drop here. So that way the transition sound that could breathe a little bit on its own. And actually the piano note bleeds over a little bit too much, I think. But I don't know, I really wanted it to sound gritty, so that might have been intentional, but I don't know, maybe not. This was done in just a few hours. Got a rise effect here. I'll play it with the piano so you can hear where it comes in. Soft and louder, louder. And then boom. And then it drops into the beat. And then Leo starts spazzing out. Got some reverberated rim shot sounds. So there's that. Got some other reverse cymbals. That's for the end of the verse, right when the verse ends. Just ended out with a good transition sound there. Something simple but swift. So that's why I went with the reverse cymbal there. Then this might be one of my favorite parts of the beat. This is like a dirty synth sound that sounds really weird on its own, but when it meshed with the whole instrumental, it sounded really good. It almost sounds even out of tune, which is crazy. When it comes in the beginning, it reminds me of like Robot Chicken intro, like the Mad Scientist for some reason. And then it comes in during right before the climax of the beat. Woo! All right, we're almost at the string part. Talk about the strings in a little bit. But during this synth part, during this breakdown, I have these like stomp sounds. And you see stomp, JJ. JJ does not mean KSI. That's a Johnny Giuliano. This is from a Johnny Giuliano drum kit. So it's like this big stomp sound, big snare sound. Without the reverb though, it's not as big. But I wanted it to be bigger, so I just put some reverb on it. I was kind of thinking of a We Will Rock You type vibe for there from that point, by the way. Yeah, let's get into the strings. So, yeah, that's it. That's the strings part. I heard some people in some reactions to the Poppin Cypher say that it was loud, that the strings were loud. I agree with that. They are loud, but I did want them to be loud. I feel like they wouldn't have had the same impact. Like, even if they're drowning out the voice of the artist a little bit, I felt like it was kind of a creative decision. Like, that was okay, because I mixed the song too. But honestly, like, if you listen to those strings with the volume down on them so they're correctly leveled, it's not the same. And so picture the vocal above that too. It would have drowned out the string. It was just a choice on like what did I want to really have the impact there. I feel like once those strings come in, like it sounds like, I don't know, it sounds epic. Like it sounds like this person has a chip on their shoulder, and a lot of the artists were at the climax of their energy during that part, during their verses, and I think it just worked really well. Then there's just this bass line that I guess just only comes in during the mad scientist part. Same notes as the piano. But yeah, it's underneath the synth, I guess. And yeah, that's pretty much it. In terms of how I structured the beat, could talk about that really quick. Just wanted to make sure the choir, strings, got their shine. Some of the synth in there. Rise effect. Now we're going. So now the beat's moving. Alright. And now we transition to the cowbell part. Just to keep it interesting, it's bouncing around the headphones. So that sounds good. Drum stop. The main drum stop here. Give it a break. Now we're getting up there. And now the ending part is the exact same part as this section here. It's the same as this section here. So the little thing that I did just to keep this part slightly more energetic than the first part, where it's the same patterns and everything, is this stomp sound. It's not in that first part, but it's in the second part. And then it goes into the breakdown. As I lay me down to sleep, I pray to the Lord above. All that. And then it just loops. Right back into it. But I feel like there's enough moving parts and it changes enough where it keeps it interesting and engaging all the way through. So I hope you guys enjoyed this big announcement. I do have a music video dropping on this YouTube channel. Make sure to turn on your notifications. Make sure to leave a comment on the video when it drops. It's called Genie. It's a music video with my boy Moxis, and the video is crazy. The song is insane, and I think you guys are really gonna enjoy that. Produced by Mike Squires, by the way. Shout out to Mike Squires. That's pretty much it. That's how I made the beat for Poppin Cypher. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm lucky to have you guys watching. Appreciate you guys watching. Nato.